Welcome back, everybody. It's our ultimate Thanksgiving dinner showdown, and today it's all about desserts. And we have contestant number 1 here. This is Lee Jekyll from Marinette. Good morning. Nice to meet you. And this looks fun, different. You know, if you're going to do a couple different pies, something besides the pumpkin, I think this one would be a real winner. Tell us about it.
Basically, it's very simple. It's just mixing all the ingredients at first, and then topping it with your pecans and your chocolate chips, and then just baking it. It's really a simple pie.
Yum! I know this is a big Southern dish that they do a lot of pecan pies, pecan, however you want to say it. It's all good. But basically, it's a Kentucky bourbon chocolate pecan pie. Bourbon? Did I get that?
Definitely bourbon. Yes.
Ooh, yum.
Yes.
All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with toasting the pecans. We've got the nice pecan halves here, right?
A cup and a half of them.
Okay. In a dry skillet. That's the way I toast them. You can also do them in the oven, but that makes me nervous because then you tend to do other things.
Exactly. Once you can smell them, you know they're starting to get done.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So just a couple of minutes in a dry skillet, and it really will bring them back to life and give them a whole ton of flavor. Okay, so what's next, Lee?
Simple. The first thing you're going to do is just add your white corn syrup.
Okay.
It's 3/4 of a cup.
Okay.
And you're just going to put that in your mixing bowl. It's nice because everything is just in one mixing bowl, so you don't even have a lot of cleanup after the fact either.
I like that.
So that's nice to do too.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, it's like, oh boy,
yep,
a lot of dishes.
Same amount, 3/4 cup of brown sugar.
Okay.
Kind of you want to pack it so you have a full 3/4 cup.
Okay.
Then you're just going to do 1/4 cup of the white sugar in there as well.
Okay.
So then you have your bourbon. You can do 1/4 to 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup. I do the 1/3 of a cup. It kind of gives it a little more of a stronger flavor.
Okay.
Then 1.5 teaspoons of your vanilla. And then 4 eggs, and then actually you're going to melt 1 stick of butter to make it melted in there.
Now we were talking about pie crusts, and you cheated, and I'm with you totally, Lee.
I do. I do not enjoy at all rolling and homemaking pie crust, so I will definitely always be a buyer of pre-made crust.
With all this other good stuff going on, you're probably not going to know the difference.
No,
you know,
and in fact, it'd probably taste better than if I had to make my own pie crust to start with anyway.
So we just store-bought pie crust, like a Pillsbury, pressed it into a pie pan. If by all means you're a good pie crust maker,
go for it.
Yeah, go for it, exactly. But we'll keep it easy.
Yep. Sometimes you probably want more of a deep dish pie pan too, because sometimes it can get a little full.
Okay.
So don't try to stick away from the shallow ones.
Good tip.
Then you'll have it baking over in your oven.
In goes our melted butter, right in here?
In goes in, yep, 1 whole stick.
Okay.
And then you're just going to mix it with your hand mixer.
I'll let you go ahead and do that, and I'll watch the nuts here. So are you baking pies for Thanksgiving this year?
I'm not this year. I'm actually off of making any desserts or meals or anything for Thanksgiving. Kind of just playing it by ear, laying low. I get more excited for the Black Friday the next day.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
It's the planning of the attack.
But do you like to bake?
I do.
Yeah.
If I'm at home, I'm usually in my kitchen.
I love that. That's great.
You know, I could do experiment in there. It's funny, people make fun of me. I call it my Zen zone. I get in the kitchen, I just get all calm and relaxed. And
I know. I kind of agree. I'm probably one of the only people who loves grocery shopping.
I know.
Crazy.
Exactly. You're gonna beat it until it gets kind of like a frothy texture.
So beat it for a little bit.
Yep. You'll notice it get frothy, bubbly. You'll notice it. It's nothing too difficult, and everything, like I said, it's all melted. Everything just gets incorporated really well. Those eggs get beaten up.
Keeping an eye on my nuts here, and they're starting to smell just a little bit. I mean, it's such a fine line between toasting the nuts and burning the nuts.
It is. The last thing you want to do is ever add the burnt nuts.
Yeah.
Once they're burnt, you can't save them. So.
And they continue to toast after you take them off the heat. So get them right out of that pan once they're toasted.
You're always better off playing it safer, having a little underdone than overdone.
I agree. Totally agree with you. So it's starting to get a little bubbly?
It is. You can see the bubbles starting to form. You'll notice it. It's getting good. So I'm going to actually stop beating it there.
Okay.
And all you're going to do next, you're done beating it. You're just going to fold in your pecans and your chocolate chips.
Okay.
Like I said, it's 1.5 cups of the pecans, and it's 3/4 a cup of chocolate chips. You can use, I use milk chocolate. You can use, if you want semi-sweet or whatever else you want. And if some people I don't know how they don't, but some people don't like chocolate, you can switch it up for anything else. They have caramel bits that you can use, or and you experiment with it. You can do white chocolate chips if that's what you
Sure.
kind of prefer as well.
Oh, I'm liking the chocolate in
I
there
agree
with
with
the
you
pecans.
on the chocolate on this one.
And
So
then obviously when it bakes, it's going to melt. And be
it gets
really,
melty
really
on the
yeah,
inside, and the
yeah.
pecans float to the top. So yeah.
Ooh, yum.
And all you're gonna do is once you have it just kind of mixed in like that, you're gonna dump it into your prepared pie. You don't par bake your crust at all either. It's
Okay.
completely unbaked. And then the chocolate chips do kind of settle to the bottom in your mixing bowl. So when you put it in, you do kind of want to spread them out a little bit so you don't have one big giant chocolate blob in the middle once it's done baking.
When this bakes, do you bake it on a cookie sheet or anything?
I usually put a cookie sheet under, like
Okay.
a rack underneath
Okay.
it, just in case you do have some spillover.
Okay.
And then you don't have
That's what I
to
was
avoid
thinking.
that burnt
Yeah.
on.
And boy, good tip about using more of a deep dish pie plate because
It does
this
fill
makes
it up.
Yeah, big, nice big. Oh, this looks amazing. Bakes at what temperature for about how long? Lee?
It's 350 degrees for about 50 to 60 minutes. It will still look kind of jiggly when you after that, but it does solidify up when it comes out of the oven. And then when you're done with it, cool, you can drizzle it with some chocolate and serve with
Ooh, here
ice
it
cream or
is.
Cool Whip or
Ooh,
some whipped
looks
cream on there.
fantastic. Do you need to refrigerate it at all?
If you if I bake it, I'm not going to eat it right away. I will refrigerate it.
Okay.
Otherwise, I find it's easier to drizzle the chocolate on so your chocolate doesn't get extremely runny after it has cooled a little bit before I do that. And if you are going to put whipped cream on it, then you are going to want to cool. Otherwise, your whipped cream you kind of it doesn't stay solid. It kind of turns liquidy. So
look
Amy,
who's
what you
here!
got there? It's not.
This is Lindsay Brooks, a wonderful pastry chef, has a great business called the Runaway Spoon, baking up lots of pies. I
Lots
think
of pies for the holidays.
For the holidays, for
absolutely.
people who have
Thank you.
ordered them, should be happy to cater your holiday party or just make your holiday desserts for you. So this looks fantastic,
Oh, it
doesn't it?
smells amazing
And
and looks
easy. It's
great.
really easy. I think I cut you way too big of a piece. And always the first piece is like the hardest to come out. So Lindsay's our guest judge today. She gets the tough job of figuring out who is the big winner, who gets that $100
Pie for
gift
breakfast,
card.
you can't complain there.
Yeah, to wire whisk. So okay, I didn't do the best piece.
First piece is always the hardest.
So there you go.
Oh, look how creamy that looks.
And I love the fact that anybody can do this. It wasn't.
it's very simple.
Yeah. Got to get some of that chocolate.
Yes.
Pecans. Ooh.
And the bourbon is really nice in there too.
You can kind of taste that in there. That's nice. Well, we'll let you her continue to
eat it?
Yeah, exactly. And Lee's going to stick around, and we've got another contestant here ready to make her a famous holiday dessert. She's doing a cranberry pumpkin cheesecake, and also coming up, Packer wife Laura Hawk. We're headed to her house for her chocolate lava cake recipe. So don't go anywhere. Lots more holiday desserts still to come.